I gradually got into it, and I thought, wow, I really love this singing thing. I got into a band for a while. Then we moved over to the States. I took some more voice lessons. And then the people at the Rochester Conservatory of Music thought I had quite a talent for singing, and they offered for me to be a teacher. So it was then that I decided I was kind of out of my depth a bit. I really needed to school myself in music, so I went back to college to Schoolcraft and Oakland University, and I was going to be a vocal performance major until we got taken over to Japan, which is one of our many moves around the world. And I had to forego my education for a while, but I've been teaching vocal now for at least 15 to 16 years, yeah. But then during this whole time period as well, we started to write songs. We recorded the album in 2004. And it wasn't really until I had cancer a couple of times that I really know that it is now my calling and my way to express myself creatively to the world. So I realised I hadn't really delved deep enough into my own artistry. And when I got out to San Francisco, through Greg's work again, I just took the time out from teaching and took a sabbatical, immersed myself in music, started to write new songs, performed at open mics and shows, and I've been doing it ever since.
Wow. Wow, what a beautiful journey to be on. And it's so amazing to me when I hear people say an illness or a loss serves as sort of that catalyst to get you really clear on who you are.
Absolutely.
And what you want, and what your purpose is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't, I mean, I got cancer once, and I still didn't realise that was my calling. I had to get it again to realise it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes
she can be slow.
And sometimes those warnings really do have to be that, like, catastrophic to shake your core.
Right.
Because it's like we don't pay attention to the tap, and we ignore the knock, and it's like, oh, okay, so the door has to come.
Exactly.
Off the hinges.
Off the hinges.
Yeah.
The foundation has to be shaken.
Indeed,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So, Greg, you have a very interesting background. So, you're an engineer by day, correct?
Correct, yeah.
But you're this rock star, Santana, in the...
You know, I think, like, so I work in, I'm not your traditional engineer in that.
Not at all.
I'm not, no.
You're not a traditional, well, neither one of you are traditional by any means, and I love it.
But I mean, it's really a life goal, right? Because you know, the engineering side of things can be pretty dry, it can be very rigid and strict and disciplined. But I kind of veered into the innovation side of things. So to me, it's about leveraging the artistic side of myself. So music, I've been playing music since I was 16 years old, and but also we've practiced martial arts, and I like photography, and so everything I do outside of work is artistic. So it really kind of leverages both sides of the brain. So you kind of you really get into that playful side, and then you can take it back into the rigid side and kind of loosen it up a little bit. Then you can take what you learned from the rigid side and help propel yourself forward with some structure and knowledge. So I find the two things very, very intertwined. To me, there's no separation.
Yeah, so you've learned how to be a lot more fluid, engineer mind, poet's heart.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Scholar warrior.
I love it.
Basically, you know, it really is. I mean, you think back like to sort of the samurai culture and stuff like that. Those guys, they were calligraphers. They were did tea ceremonies. They did all these kind of beautiful
gardening
things. Exactly, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they had a profession that was completely the opposite. So
absolutely. Yeah, love that. So you said you've been playing since you were 16 years old. Who are some of your musical influences?
Oh yeah, it's all across the board. I mean, it was funny today. We were listening to an internet radio station from the UK, and it's a guy called Ian Redding, and he was a DJ at a nightclub that we used to go to all the time, and he was the guy playing on the night we got together 33 years ago, and so that was all jazz, funk, and soul. That was what we grew up on. That was our stuff, you know, and so we really dug that. But then I love I love Pink Floyd, but then I love EDM, I love deep house, so, and jazz and blues, the whole thing, you know, it's
just music.
It's music, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good music,
yeah,
good artful music, yeah.
That doesn't matter what genre, just good.
Yep, exactly. If it gets you,
yeah, it's
you
going to
gotta
make you
feel
feel something.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, evoke something. Yeah, inside you, or quell something.
Exactly.
Yeah, inside you. Yeah, I love that. So the two of you have your instruments.
We do.
And so I was just wondering if you could just play something for us, and take the audience, because I feel that in our society, particularly American society, from the as you all outsiders looking in, you maybe can say yay or nay. We're just too busy.
Yeah.
Americans are just way too busy with being busy. I don't even know that it's a productive busy. You're just busy with stuff. And I remember having a conversation with someone. They're off social media, and they said to me, "I'm bored." And I'm like, "Wow, so you're off social media, but you're bored?" Yeah. Isn't it interesting? So, like, she was able to see how much social media kind of dominated her time.
Right.
Yeah, it's used as a mood manager. There's a lot of research on this where they say that because you can, whenever you feel a need for something, you can instantly go and kind of manage your mood with it. So it becomes like this addiction of like this continuous noise floor, but like music is the space between the notes.
Yeah, that's true.
So in life,
how poetic.
Yeah, I don't think that was his quote.
Mine, but, I'm creative.
But it's a good quote.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a great quote.
But I also feel like, when you're sitting in the doctor's office, you don't want to just sit there, do you? Or if you're sitting on the couch at home, you feel guilty just sitting there doing nothing. So you pick up your phone, and you scroll through Facebook, you scroll through Instagram, because you can't just sit and be. And that's such a shame,
It is. And I think, to your point, with a lot of the schools, particularly in the metro area, have gotten rid of music programs, or like a lot of the art programs have dried up. And you think about, we want to save money, budget cuts. The hardcore academics stay in place, but I think the place that kind of helps focus and the quelling and the mattering. I remember as a girl in choir, we became a family because we spent so much time together, and then we go on the road and take different trips. A lot of meaningful relationships, and sometimes our teachers, for many of us that didn't have the happier childhood, they became like second parents.
I can believe that.
Yeah, and it gave us, kind of a leg to stand on.
Yeah,
a community, a place to be without judgment or ridicule. We could be ourselves. And now with these,
we're hiding. We're not even. Well, one of the songs I'm going to play you today mentions
that. Yeah, and they even say that the addiction has gotten so bad that we don't even know how to make eye contact or be intimate with one another.
No.
Yeah, I saw a quote that said, "Social is not sociable." So when we're on all these social platforms, we're being social, but we're not being sociable.
Correct.
Because that's in our physical domain,
I've even noticed myself that I like to spend more time by myself than I used to. I was always more of a social person, but I think this has made me less sociable. It's interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah.
And I don't like it.
No. Yeah. No. So we gotta create more spaces for people to come out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and be sociable.
Indeed.
And be sociable. Yeah. So, if you guys don't mind grabbing your instruments, I'll go ahead and set this up. So, what was the inspiration behind this particular song that you're going to
play? So, the first one we're going to play was a song that we wrote in Japan. It's called Twilight. And it was inspired because a friend of mine came to visit from the States who had just lost her mother. And she was in a very chaotic state of mind at that point, and I just wanted to reach out and say to her, this is okay. It's okay to feel like this. You just need to calm down. You need to, it's all very well for me to say that, but I just wanted to put my arms around her and say it's going to be okay. But It's very, it isn't really obvious, this song. It's more metaphorical, I would say.
Okay.
But it's called Twilight, and it was meant as a kind of a healing for her.
I love that. All right, so this is Jan